Welcome back, Trap Talk listeners. I'm your host, Zach Nannini, and we are live here at the 106th building, Trap Talk.
Yep.
Getting ready.
2025 Grand American.
2025
AIM Grand right now.
Right now, it's the AIM Grand,
Yep.
and to spark it off, to get
We've
into
got
the AIM
three AIM coaches here from the Oklahoma Dusters.
Grand, we've got Paul,
Monty,
and Brad. So you guys are Oklahoma Dusters, and today's episode, we're going to really focus on figuring out what it takes to be a coach, how to lead the team, how to grow the team,
how to handle all the young mongrels that you have running around on your team.
Sure, great people, but it's from our side we're shooters, and now Ricky obviously is an instructor and
a past college
and
coach.
a past college coach. Myself, I'm a shooter. I've taught some, but I think running a team is a completely different dynamic, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that listen to our shows that want to know how do they get involved, maybe how do they volunteer,
Yep.
What are the right things to do in coaching, what are the wrong things to do, if you guys want to speak on that. So welcome to season 3 of Trap Talk.
Brought to you by Craigoff, the choice of champions.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Craigoff. Me and Ricky both shoot them. We both love them.
Yep, best gun in the industry. I shoot them, I sell them. Nothing better, folks. Get yourself a Craigoff, your scores will increase.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with his. I mean, I've got a few hundreds, but I'm always working to get a little bit better, and they definitely help me, that's for sure. So on top of that, we also got to thank Winnig. I'm wearing the shirt today. Love this shirt. If you're down at the Grand, pick one up.
Yeah, Winnig, like I said, Zach, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with my Winnig stock. Get a hold of Bobby, Luke, Bill, get an appointment set up. They will make you a better shooter with that Winnig stock.
Of course, yeah, the Grand's the great place to do it. Give them a call, get on their book. It's worth your time.
Just remember, winners shoot Winnigs.
With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
So first of all, I'll direct the first question to you, Paul. How'd you get started? How'd you get involved? And tell us a little bit about the Oklahoma Dusters.
So I got started coaching through the 4-H in 2016, and then we fast forwarded our group out western Oklahoma. We started with 2, and then it escalated up to about 20 kids. And in 2020, the opportunity come available for me to become the Oklahoma AIM director, and I jumped on it. I just felt it was a calling to go that direction, and the rest has been history. To become an AIM coach, you have to have the certification either through NRA or 4-H. So my 4-H allowed me to come on into it along with these 2 guys as well.
So walk us through that certification process, because I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what that means. So where do you start? Does it cost a lot of money? How much is the training? Like what was that in?
So it was free. You got to dedicate 1 weekend. It's I believe a 12-hour-a-day course dedicated to going through their training, their certifications, like a bunch of written tests, safety gun handling, and all of that.
Okay. And I'm sure, being a coach, there has to be some like liability insurance, so I'm sure they want to get you certified and trained in a way that you're able to articulate the gun safety, because when we're dealing with young people, that's probably the most important part to start,
gun safety.
To get them a solid foundation of, hey, everybody's going to be safe. And I read an article a few years ago, and it was comparing shooting sports to like football, and it's like the shooting sports is like the safest sport of all the different sports that you could have in the country, because everybody's really responsible and they have some really good coaching staff. But most of these teams, as they're growing, they have a lot of coaches. It's not just 1 coach or 2 coaches. It's like, how many coaches do y'all have on your team right now?
So we've got there's 5 of us.
5.
I've got myself, Monty, Brad, and Roger Diller, and Wesley McElhannon just brought him on board with us this year to help us out.
And the size of your team is around 50?
Yes, sir. Right.
So a coach for every 10 kids, roughly.
Yep, roughly.
And I know there's some other teams that are bigger or smaller, but it just depends how many volunteers you have. And
Yeah. Now, do you guys have a lot of parents that help out too?
Yes, we got a lot of parents that jump in and help us out and help manage
A lot of
that.
coaches' wives do a lot of
Yes, and the wives.
He said that with a smile too.
I do like a good smile.
Yeah.
No, it is, and it is a big part. I was a college coach for 10 years, and my biggest team I think had was about 17. And my wife helped out a lot. I did have an assistant coach that was a past student that she helped out a lot. Without her, it wouldn't have been made possible. Because there's times that, as you being the head coach, it's tough to do everything.
Yes.
And especially if you guys got 50 kids,
Yep.
that's a lot of work, and it does take a lot. And we had great parents too that would help out with food or you need rides here, and that's the big part of it. Now, what's your age range on your kids on the AIM program?
Clancy's gonna be the youngest.
10 years old.
10?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got junior goals fixing to age out. He's 23.
So big 13-year age gap, basically,
Yes,
which, and his 10, I know that's when my youngest son Tyler's 17. I taught him when he was younger than that, but
Yeah.
he shot sporting clays from when he was about 9 till he was about 10, 11. Then I brought him into the trap side, you know.
Clancy's my son, actually. We started him at 7. So he
Okay.
started shooting at 7, but he
Yep.
shot his first registered ATA target at 8.
Okay,
So this is his second year. This is his first year to actually shoot all the events
okay.
for the AIM portion.
AIM.
Sporting clay, ski, and all trap disciplines.
Trap
So it's a really cool deal. He's got 3 older brothers, so he's kind of, he's been in the middle of it basically
His whole life, yep.
more or less. So anyway, it's a lot of fun.
And I believe that shooting all the disciplines is great because it helps you, especially with these kids going into college.
Sure.
Because
Yep.
when you
College
shoot,
coaches want the well rounded.
absolutely, and that's what I try to
Something we
tell everybody.
learned as we have progressed.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why I think these programs that aim, the SCTP stuff,
Yeah.
I think, I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska, so Nebraska has the largest, well, not largest, the longest running youth shooting program. I think this year was our 54th annual state high school shoot. So, but they only shoot singles and handicap. Now you go over to like Iowa, and because we met some coaches there at the Iowa State shoot, their kids, they shoot singles, handicap, doubles.
Right.
And then they do have a portion where they'll shoot maybe some ski stuff. But I always try to tell all my young students, and because I teach all over the world, is hey, go shoot ski, go shoot some sporting. Because if you're going to go to college, you got to be able to do this. Otherwise, coaches might not look. You might be the best trap shooter in the world, but if you can't break a ski target or sporting target, they might not look at you.
Well, nowadays that they want them well-rounded, as
Yeah.
you said, and what I liked what you said is we have learned, and I think all 3 of you have probably learned a lot in doing this that you didn't know when you started doing it, and I think that's the biggest thing is like, okay, people that volunteer that want to help the team, it's going to be a learning experience. So I guess my next question is, what are
Understatement of the day right there.
so what are the biggest things that you guys have learned as a team over these last years, kind of that you would give to the listeners today?
The well-roundedness, just have them shoot every discipline. I don't know, me and Monty have often questioned if we shouldn't have them start shooting ski first and then move to the trap.
Yeah.
Probably one of the misconceptions when we think of a coach. You think of a coach as somebody standing on the line, helping them hold the shotgun, the fundamentals and the dynamics. As a coach for the Oklahoma Dusters, we're more logistics.
Yeah.
Getting the kids, who's going, well, here's the dates, getting them entered, getting the logistics of getting here. When we get here, is the money right? Is the entries right? That 90% of our work is the leg work, the footwork, the logistics of getting to the tournament. It's not so much hold a little higher gun.
Yeah, at this point, we're doing some very fine tuning because by the time we're here, you got those coaches on the ground level that have brought those kids up in 4-H or FFA or whatever that might be. They're the ones that got them started. They got them going. And if we see some really bad habit, we're going to try to correct that. Safety is always the biggest issue. And going back to the coaching thing, that's all they teach you is safety.
Yeah.
So to learn how to be a coach, you have to learn how to do it from guys that have been shooting forever. You learn. And the best thing to do is to go out there on the line and do it yourself.
Yep.
Learn how to do it, get taught how to do it, and then you can transfer that. But at this point, these kids, you're not going to go out and start changing some massive thing one day before they're fixing to shoot 100 targets and ski. You're looking at hold points. You're looking at small little things. Like you said, you're gonna move their feet just a little bit, get them where they've got a better shot at a left hand or right hand target. Fine details at this point.
Yeah.
So the ground level coaches is who gets them to this point. So
Yeah, I love that, and I love the fact that you guys acknowledge the fact that the biggest portion of what you do is logistics, because you think about these kids, they're young and they're starting, they're excited to do it. And what I've learned about youth shooting is they're sponges and they figure things out really quickly. Like they're really smart, and if you just kind of put them in the right direction, hey, this is a target, they start picking it up and start shooting, and then figuring out, okay, I want to hold here, I want to do this, or I want to do that, and they can learn it on their own, but they're not going to figure out how to get the entries or the hotels or all the other things that are come across with moving 45 or 50 people. I mean, that is a huge undertaking that you guys are doing, and probably, along with keeping them safe, is just making sure everything's organized.
Well, you got 50 kids that are coming here, and parents, and sometimes
And
dogs, and grandma and grandpa show up, and all brothers and sisters.
Yes.
It's a difficult deal. It really is.
Yeah.
When I started this in 2020, my wife was ready to string me up because I take all the data that I had, and I'll start in January and we'll roll through. I typically cut off after our Texas State shoot. Once the websites are updated, I gather all that data, but I'm looking at it from January on. And who's solid, who's struggling, what do we need to do to help them out?
Yeah.
And then my wife, I had all this data laid out on the legal pads, and the last 3 years, I got a laptop, and thank the Lord for Microsoft Excel. I can sit there.
It does work good.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
I mean, I can sit there with dual monitors and grab that data off the ATA site, input it. And I look at it just the way they do here on the classifying. I look at their average for the year, look at their last 5 shoots they've attended, break that average, make sure we're all classified where we need to be classified,
Yeah.
and go from there.
So moving into that aspect, so here at the Grand, so is it the same? Like I know in college shoots, it's you just take your top 5 scores. Where is it at AIM? Is it the scores on each squad?
Yes, sir.
So you can't cherry pick your top 5 scores. So you got to try to put the 5 shooters that you think are going to shoot good together. Now, do you always go by average, or do you say, you know what? Nah, you shoot pretty good with him, even though maybe you're a lesser shooter, but when you guys shoot together, it brings you up and such. Do you do that stuff, or how do you pick your...
So what we do some of that, but what we do is like this year we didn't get to do it last year with the Southwest Zone. It was at El Reno.
Yep.
So
Great club. Shot there.
I took the data and I said, your squad, I've got you squatted, don't worry about it. And they're, what? I said, singles, you guys are all squatted. That's where you're going to shoot. And I kind of had some backlash on it because the kids, they started a little rumor, maybe some mindset, oh, if I don't shoot good, I'm off the squad. No, I'm wanting to see how you gel.
How you gel.
And let's work through those little hiccups to make sure.
And that, in my opinion, is one of the most important aspects of shooting as a team event. Because trap shooting is not, registered shooting is not a team event.
Right.
Okay, it's individual. But I grew up shooting in the high school program in Nebraska, so I was, part of that team deal, but also an individual stuff. But it was the deal back then. We were in high school. We didn't have, each individual shooter wasn't the best in the country, but when you put the 5 of us together, we were.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've always believed in. And when I was a college coach there, when I had, bigger teams of like 17,
Yeah.
I would say, okay, well, you can handpick the scores at the end, so it didn't matter. But I said, guys, here's what we're gonna do. Well, no, I like shoot with him. I'm like, we're gonna try something different because I think you guys will shoot better. And it was funny. It took some of the lesser shooters and brought their scores up because they were like, oh, I get to shoot with so-and-so that's breaking
It pushes you
100
to
straights
shoot
off.
with
Yeah.
better
Absolutely.
people.
Exactly.
It does push you to shoot with other people and better people, and I think that you guys have to look at it from a case-by-case basis and say, well,
Yeah.
what's going to be best? If you have 2 personalities that don't get along really well, you're
And they
probably
can be the best shooters.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and we're talking about this. I mean, we don't get to talk about this much because we're all talking individually, and
Yep.
whoever we're interviewing is the biggest, baddest shot of the day on the show, right? We make, they're the amazing shooter of the day, but like with this thing, there's always egos involved,
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially when you're growing up and hormones are changing and things are adjusting, and it's like, no, I'm the best, or no, you're the best, or and that goes on because we had that when I was at Lindenwood, and these are people that are even a little bit older that should be a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit more mature, but sometimes
But
it's
you
just,
weren't.
I wasn't, so that's okay. I can admit it, but what I'm saying is it's got to be difficult to balance that, and it's got to be something that you have to put a little bit extra thought into. And as a team sport, building a team is completely different than having individuals. I mean,
because all your team. So it's in Oklahoma, but is it a big area?
We're statewide.
Statewide. So
Yeah.
so anybody can come shoot for the Dusters.
Yep.
We've
So-
pulled a couple from Texas.
Yep.
Might need to edit that. I don't know.
pulling them from Texas, I like.
We had a young man.
Well,
that-
they straddle the line.
They're just
They-
almost in Oklahoma anyway.
Yeah, they come shoot at our local club at Sayre at the Red Dirt Club. They come over and they're like 45 minutes from us, and they loved what we did. So
Being part of the team.
Yeah.
And that's part of there's some kids that want to do that, and then there's some kids I know that, like, now that I'm going to shoot that stuff, I want to shoot
Right.
individuals. And that you got to do what you want to do.
That's right.
Yep.
But when you're with a team, you're part of the team. It's just not about you.
Yeah.
And that's what I've had to explain. Because I teach, lessons and private lessons all over the world, and I'll get questions about that. Well, little Johnny wants to maybe go shoot for this team. What do you think? I'm like, well, you got to want to do it.
Yeah.
And you got to understand, this ain't going to be just about him.
It's about everybody.
It's about
he doesn't
everybody.
want to bring anybody down because you're letting the team down,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So I think that team mentality is a little bit hard to drive in this sport because you feel like it's individual and everybody does their individual job. We're going to win, but then there's that personality clash that you have to look at and say, okay,
Yeah.
are we able to work together as a team without butting heads? And
Yep.
and that can get hard, especially if the shoot is a week long and you're day in, day out, day in, day out.
When,
it's
when
hot.
did you guys get here? Wednesday?
We got here, yes, Wednesday, checked in at noon Wednesday.
We're gonna start shooting Thursday, and you
Thursday,
guys
Thursday,
in tomorrow.
8 a.m.
Yeah, so Thursday to Tuesday. Now, do you do any other? Do you shoot SCTP stuff, or is it just AIM?
Just primarily the AIM
Just
program.
AIM program. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
4-H is big in our
Yeah.
state.
I would say
4-H is
Oklahoma,
big,
yeah, 4-H. I mean, Nebraska's big.
Scholastic.
Yeah.
deal, too.
They have a scholastic program through the high schools. We shoot in it, and then, like I said, 4-H and FFA, and then in September we'll kick off. With Texas has their San Antonio stock show. And
The
rodeo.
stock show and rodeo shoot.
So-
That's
A brainchild of Monty's was the Oklahoma Youth Expo stock show. So we have the Oklahoma Youth Expo shoot in the fall.
That's awesome.
Oh,
And
nice.
It'll drag
It's one of
in
the
Trinity
biggest-
Monty.
Crafton Sporting Clay.
It's one of the
Okay.
biggest
50
shoots in
target.
the state. It's a
Yeah.
pretty awesome deal.
well, which is good to do that because we need the kids. If we don't, I mean, I've been doing this. This is my 37th or 38th Grand American, 37th Grand American,
Wow.
38th year shooting. I think. I don't know. They all run together.
Let's run it together.
Yeah,
many.
yeah, exactly. But it's one of those things is without the kids,
Yeah.
we don't have a future. Now, everybody always says, well, yes, no. I mean, the kids are going to go away. They go to college. They start a career because this isn't the cheapest sport to
Right.
do by any means.
Yeah, right.
But they're going to come back.
Yes.
So
You're
but
not
we
telling
got to
him,
get them
he's
started.
got like 4 kids, and they all shoot.
They all shoot.
He knows.
I thought it was bad when my wife and my son were shooting, and then my wife doesn't shoot anymore.
He's a saint.
Yeah, you must be a saint. No.
Hey, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and we got to thank Ron Prescott from Mid-State Precious Metals for everything they do for the trap shooting community, coast to coast, for all your gold and silver buying needs. And on top of that, new announcement, they're a sponsor of the 126th Grand American.
Finally, he said it right, folks. Grand American. Yeah, Ron is a great guy. He's a sponsor of the Backfence Shootout at Nevada State Shoot and Ohio State Shoot. And also, we got our gold for our Trap Talk event at Nevada State Shoot. And the 77th annual Nevada State Shoot, they bought all theirs from him. 680 ounces of silver to be exact, folks. You're missing out if you're not there.
That's a lot of silver, and honestly, if you're not buying from Ron, you're probably overpaying. So whether you're buying it for your gun clubs or your shoots or for your personal use, you got to give them a try because they're big supporters of the Trap Shooting Nation. So it's awesome. All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and I've got something that I'm so excited to announce. Trap Shooting USA has now become the official magazine of the Trap Talk podcast.
No, it's not only Trap Shooting USA now. It's Wing and Clay Life, Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, and Clay Shooting USA.
I'm just really excited because they make such a high quality magazine. I mean, if you guys haven't had these magazines and you actually get to touch them in your hands, they've got really thick paper, they're really glossy, and they keep it really cool. I mean, I just love it.
The Traveling Gunsmith, and then in this newest episode, we have
Oh man, look at those handsome guys. I love this. I love it. I love it.
All right, folks, we need to take a quick second and get to a new show sponsor, Big Red Motorsports. Big Red, they're personal friends of mine, Jason and George Lee, and they're also a personal sponsor of mine.
Now, I'll say this. Ricky looked great driving around in that side-by-side. I got some free rides down at Tucson, the Autumn Grand. I think it's awesome that they deliver all across the country, and obviously they love trap shooters, they love trap shooting, and they're doing a great job.
Listen, they got Can-Am, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Triton trailers. Hit them up. We'll take care of you guys.
All right, folks, we got to take a real quick break and acknowledge the official target of the ATA, White Flyer. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning, and they make a great target. What do you think, Rick?
It's the best target in the ATA. Shout out to everybody there, all the reps, Bill Daniels, Josh Taylor, Nick Arnold, Robert Crow, everything they do for the sport and all the shoots. Really appreciate it.
They're always there. They're always trying to make a better target, and they're always supporting the game that we love so much. All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a quick break, and we got to welcome a new sponsor to the show, RGS Bore Stripper. It's a great product. Ricky, tell them how they can find it.
Go to their website, rgsguncleaner.com. You can get the 1 8-ounce bottle, free shipping, 2 8-ounce bottle, and you get the 2-ounce travel bottle, and it's free shipping also, or just get the little 2-ounce bottle for travel.
Yeah, they sent me some of this product, and I used it on my Krieghoff choke tubes the other day, and it got the plastic out like in a minute, and it was super cool and super good. So if you like cleaning your gun, you like eliminating plastic, and you like shiny bores, give them a try for sure. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
Yeah, we'd really like to thank John Weber, the owner, for the support. He's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, we really want to thank John. We appreciate the support of the show. Anybody that supports Trap Talk, you guys need to support them and get this stuff because it's awesome. All right, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a couple seconds and thank a couple more sponsors. First of all, Remington's been with us since day one. I've been shooting these shells since 2007. I shoot the Nitro 27 from the 27-yard line, ounce and eighth, 7.5, and STS ounce and eighth, eighths for singles and doubles. They've worked great for me as they do a lot of top shooters all around the country. Give them a try. Don't forget the gun club line when you're practicing and you're wanting to save a little bit of money.
We'd also like to thank another sponsor, Outlaw Engineering. Randy Freston, R2. I've known Randy since 1988. They do engineering, surveying, drafting, GIS, civil, structural, land development, wetland permitting. They do it all.
And they're friends of trap shooters. I mean, they're a trap shooting family. They've been in the ATA forever. His dad's been involved. They're involved. They're a beautiful family. They're great people. And we just love that they listen to the show, and we love that they support Trap Talk.
Yeah, his dad was past president in 1989. So I really want to thank those guys for the support. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a quick second to thank a couple more amazing sponsors. SOS Clays Shoot Management. They're doing a fantastic job. I love the app. I love being able to see everything on my phone instantaneously. It's freaking awesome. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, Greg Pink and his group over there. I mean, they've got majority of the satellite grands, majority of the state shoots. I think it's 40 plus state shoots they're doing. But the app, honestly, we were doing a little beta testing with that at the Spring Grand. It's awesome. You can see your squad if they paid. You can see your options, your payouts. The whole works at your fingertips. Great deal. They're just
Ricky knew how much money he made before he even got off the line. He was like, hey, I'm buying lunch. I'm like, yeah, good job. We're good to go.
That's
we
right.
also got gun and trophy insurance. I mean, they're the best in the business. I know they're great price. Ricky, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, Cole and Larry Cushman been long-time supporters of myself, and I've been a supporter of them, and, especially with my college team, we require insurance. It's so fast and easy to sign up and get your insurance in literally 10 minutes. You can have your guns insured, and they're just great. They're great to deal with. Like I said, you can do your trophies also, your wildlife animals and that such, and your guns. It's just a great
It's always good when you're traveling around to have that peace of mind and know that you don't have to worry about losing your stuff forever. And these are expensive things, especially when you got those Krieghoffs. You got to keep them insured. So,
exactly.
With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
All right, folks, we got to take another quick break and thank one of our show sponsors, 73 Pointers Ranch, Jonesburg, Missouri. Rick and Carla Burke. Best place in the area to go shoot chuckers and pheasants and have a great time. Rick, we got to get you down there.
Yeah, I need to come in. Hopefully I can do some hunting with you guys and come to your the annual clay shoot in August right after the Grand.
It's a lot of fun. It's the Optimist Club charity shoot. They throw a charity shoot. They put it on, and it's wonderful. I think last year they had over 100 entries into it, and it's just a good time. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
Now, speaking of that aspect, do you guys have sponsors that help the team?
Yes, sir. So we have Oklahoma Farm Bureau. they help us out with our state sheet, and they help us with our shirts and stuff. And then we have other companies, Ramjack, and just individual companies throughout the state of Oklahoma that help us out. We've
help
kind of
out.
got a level of sponsorship.
Certain
A lot
stuff.
of local, we've got a lot of support from a lot of local people. I mean,
Yep.
you know, local farmers, local little groups here and there, and every, you know, they'll
When your
kick each other,
community
but-
sees you're doing something worthwhile that's
Yeah.
involving youth
Yes.
and getting them out in the outside,
Doing stuff, not
Competitive.
just absolutely
and you have success, the support just kind of naturally comes
funnels
to
down to you, which is good.
It's
And
amazing.
you know, it sounds like so you've been doing this 5 years. Now, was your first one? Did you come to the AIM in Lynn Creek then?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So the COVID Grand, we call it.
Yeah, the COVID
It's my
Grand.
grand.
It's my favorite grand ever.
It was. We had a good time there. That's when
what-
Zach got to. That's when Zach got to break out and start shooting. You know, COVID helped him get out.
It did. It brought me back into the sport, and then
Yeah.
I was on home cooking all week, and I liked it. It was good because that target I've shot it a lot, and I'm like, I could get used to this.
There you go.
Yeah. No, and that's and at that time, what did you have, about 20 kids when you started that?
I think, yeah, it was about 15 to 20 at that time.
So you're almost tripling your team
There
in
you go.
5 years, which is good. So
Yes.
people are seeing you're doing a good thing. You know. Now, do you travel to any other state shoots besides? the
Yeah,
local?
we'll go to Kansas.
Okay.
This year we weren't able to go to the Texas State Shoot, but we'll go to Kansas, go to KTA for their state shoot, and then we'll come back to the Southwest Zone and then the Southwest Grand.
Southwest
as well.
Grand, because
We'll
they
put-
do the youth shoot at
Yes,
the
sir.
Southwest. Because
Yep.
I know it was 2 years ago I brought
Yeah.
college kids down there and they got to shoot and stuff and enjoyed it. And that is a good thing. And I think the ATA needs to maybe implement some more of that. I know we talked about doing something with Dale Stockdale
Yeah.
of the Heartland Grand up in Ackley, Iowa. He wanted to try to do a youth deal because Dale's a
Nice.
coach for a college team too. But just to try to get more youth at the bigger shoots.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the numbers was last year's Southwest Grand for the total kids, but my gosh, it was unreal at the kids that was over there, and I'm over here trying to shoot on the main field, and
Try to worry about
running back and forth, and
I know that feeling.
So I do want to circle back because we glazed over something I thought was kind of important when we talked about sponsors. Do you guys have a fundraising program or have fundraising shoots? And if you do, you know, what do those look like for teams that are just starting out and they're not as successful as you guys are yet?
we really haven't dove off into the fundraising shoots. Just trying to get everything organized. We just like I said,
Raffle every now and then.
Yeah, we'll do a raffle on occasion. We're doing one right now.
Yeah.
Help with the expenses and stuff.
So the sponsors bear the brunt of it, and then the families bear the brunt of it more than
Exactly.
anything,
Yes, sir.
and just kind of handling it that way. Because I know some teams, they really try to do a good job of promoting and building a team account and figuring out what everyone gets as far as shells and practice and making it fair and even. And there's a lot of different ways that it's been done that I've seen. But most of the teams that I see, it's just like what you said. You have some sponsors, you have maybe a raffle here and there, but more than anything, the families are more interested in taking care of their kids on the team and going from there.
It's an important aspect, though. I mean, we're not babysitters. The families need to be involved in this because we don't. I mean, we will occasionally, in special circumstances, we do bring kids up that'll stay with the family. But this is not a sport that's just we're going to bring a busload of 15, 20 kids up with no parents and try to babysit them. That's not what we do, and we won't want to. I mean, you really need to have parents involved in it, and which is another thing that really is a pretty awesome thing about it too. That kind of helps bond families, and it bonds relationships with kids from all over the state. Meeting, connecting with kids that they wouldn't know otherwise. I mean, it's a really great aspect, and I love the sport for that. And the best part about it is the people we meet here. I mean, you guys know this. I mean, you go set your gun right next to a $20,000-$30,000 gun, and nobody will be there. This is just a wonderful sport to be a part of because everybody's trustworthy. We all kind of have the same goals in mind, and nobody's going to mess with somebody. And it's just, we want to see, we want to be the best shooter out there, but at the same time, with these kids, we're rooting for all of them.
100%, and I think what you said earlier about the communities and the communities getting involved, that was really powerful because you think about it, and what does this world need now? It needs more honest people, more trustworthy people. It needs more people that are able to actually have some work ethic, and I think if you don't start that at a young age and teach that at a young age, then where does it come from? Because a lot of the times in the public schooling system, as we know, they're not instilling those types of values.
Values.
And when, you know,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot of bad things, but all the good things I learned were at a trap shoot from
knows.
from trap shooters and good people that like said, hey, this is, you know, what you do, and this is how you act, and this is, you know, where you go, and, you know, and to have the community see that and recognize you guys as community leaders, and then say, okay, we want to support the Oklahoma Dusters because they're training our future, you know, business owners and leaders and workers and all the people in the community that are going to do the right things, because
Right.
at the end of the day, when they do grow up and they get done with this for a little while, they're going to be individuals in the community doing things.
Yep. And that's, you know, with the AIM program, I touched on it when we first got here the other day, and I touched on it again this morning. I said, you know, me as a person, I wasn't big on academics. I do not go to my shooter on ATA and look at my average right now, because marksmanship is not there. But the one thing I am high on is integrity,
Yes.
and we drive the integrity on these
Now,
kids.
you were telling me something earlier before we started shooting about the CEO, or what was the
Company I work for back home, me being at that time I was a mechanic, and I just was narrow-minded to what he had to say. But he talked to us about knowledge, buy-in, and culture in a group meeting one day. And then once I moved into management, I saw how this knowledge and this buy-in and this culture took place. And I went to implementing it on my mechanics, and then I brought it to our team. And that's what we go off of, just the knowledge, the buy-in, and culture. The knowledge that the bigger kids have, our juniors, junior goals to share with our sub-juniors and our pre-subs. And then the buy-in to work hard and win championships. And then our culture, we gotta have fun. We've got to have a fun culture. And that's just, we just pass that along year after year.
That's the most important thing you said, and I always say it in all my classes I teach, and to everybody, new shooters, is have fun.
Yeah.
Because if you can't have fun, I mean, like I said earlier, it's an expensive sport. You're just wasting money.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
gotta be a reason that we're leaving farms, other parents are leaving business and taking vacation
Yeah,
to spend this week here in a camper, in the heat, in the humidity.
it's hot here, folks. So
Packed
people
in
don't know.
here, packed in
It's a
here,
little
and it's
warm.
hot. In this
The
campground,
humidities.
and
Yeah,
we do it because we enjoy it.
yeah.
We leave here thinking, God, that was a good time.
We accomplished something.
We accomplished something.
And
We
speaking
went.
about that, you said you had 3 teams. One team had a 497 today.
The
Yeah.
junior team's 497, junior goal was 493, and then another junior
I
team.
think it's the other way around. I think 497 was your goal, wasn't it?
No.
No,
Okay.
no, it was the junior team.
Nice.
the young ones came in and started
Yeah.
laying it on them, huh?
Yeah, the older boys.
Older
going,
boys, you better start.
looking
Yeah,
over
that's
their
right.
shoulder.
Yeah.
There's always more better coming from behind. You got to be watching for it. You got to look out.
But that you speak of that, and that shows the success that your team has had.
And 3 new shooters to the deal that
3 today,
ran their
ran
first 25
25.
strokes
Right.
today,
Yeah.
so they're going to get the patch
Yeah.
at the AIM Grand.
Yeah.
They'll never forget that.
That's
That's
beautiful.
and that's what it's about. It's about making memories
Yeah.
and stuff. You know, you guys as coaches and you guys
4. I forgot. We had 4.
Four of them?
Right. That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest part of this is because the kids will remember this stuff, and so will
Yeah.
you guys. I mean, it, you know,
And I, like I said, I can remember Lindenwood, and I never was on any team shooting until I went to college. And for me, it was all an individual sport. And I was just an individual lone soldier out there doing my own thing. And then I got to Lindenwood, and it was an eye-opening experience to be a part of a team. And I felt it. And I'm like, wow, this is a really, really cool thing. And looking back at it, when I was doing it, I had no idea how cool it was until it was over. But then once it was over and I look back at it, I'm like, that was probably one of the coolest experiences in my life, that I was able to be with some really good people that all wanted to do the same thing.
Yep.
And to stretch that out at a younger age and pull that through, I think that's a really special gift that you're giving.
See that right there, what you're saying right there is exactly why I love coaching, because my second born son, he's 15 now, he came to me and he's like, Dad, I'm kind of over this, I'm tired of shooting. And I understand it, you know, we've got 4 boys and we're all involved, I shoot as well, but it just kind of, I knew this one was one that kind of, whenever the pressure gets hard, it's like he kind of just wants to give up. You know, I
gravitate
said,
away from it.
I said, listen, I said, here's number one. I said, you have a great time when you go to these shoots. I said, you always, he's our social butterfly. He likes to go out and see people, but He does enjoy shooting, especially when he shoots well.
Who doesn't like that? I like that.
Nobody likes that.
I like that.
But I said, listen, here's the deal. I said, when you turn 18 and you move out, you may not ever pick up another shotgun, and that's fine. But I said, as long as you're living with me, you're going to go and you're going to do. And this is why. Because we don't play baseball, we don't play basketball, we shoot. And this is what, we've tried all that other stuff, and this is what we've done as a family. And I said, this is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn perseverance, diligence. You're going to learn how to do something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you're still going to do it because it's life. There are so many life lessons that these guys learn on that track field, and they have no idea they're learning it right now. But when they're 25, 30, 35, 40, they're going to come back and they say, Dadgum, I remember when Monty Tucker used to tell me about this thing, and it's like, man, it's going to apply to them in life. And what you said, that hard work, that diligence, that stick to it, we're missing that today. And if we can get a little bit of something in there to get a little bit of drive in them, just keep them in there. And you know what? This is hard, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I remember our coaches used to teach us how to do that. And that's why I love coaching at this level.
Well, somewhere along the lines, hard became a taboo. Like, oh, we don't want to do anything hard. It's like everything we want to do it the easy way. We want more instant gratification. We want
everybody wins an award.
We want the microwave.
Yeah, everybody wants to be able to walk in, everybody win, everybody get something out of it, and not have to put that effort in. And the effort is what develops the character. That pressure and that time and that effort is going to turn them into something that's valuable long term. Versus, if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, right? And then it wouldn't even be fun. You wouldn't have that gratification. And I think about it so much. At the time, had no idea what I was doing as far as what I was building and learning to do in life. But, it was like, oh, this is hard, but I'm going to keep doing it. And then now, you go to business or you go like this podcast. This podcast hasn't been the easiest thing we've ever undertook, but we love doing it because people love watching and they learn. And Ricky's put in a lot of effort and time, and now he's teaching all over the country even more than he was before. And I mean, it's just work on top of work on top of work.
Sure. It's just like you said, the perseverance of getting through stuff, and that's what a lot of kids. This is one, and I'll say this, and I believed it since I started shooting in the 80s. I started registering in 88, but 87, 86 I shot. But it's one of those things of, are you going to be the best? No, but you can be. And it's about what you put into it. And that's the one thing is I've always told everybody, you can be a world champion, but it goes in what you put into it.
That's right.
And that's where some kids, if they can't do it, they just back away and say, I'm not good at this, so I'm not going to do it. Well, this is a sport that anybody of all talents can shoot.
Yes.
No matter if you're handicapped, have eye issues, physical.
And shooting sports takes the gender out of it.
Absolutely.
The girls shoot toe to toe with the boys.
And they beat them.
Yeah,
Same ball, same
Well,
gun, same
you
target,
have-
same gun, same
They
ammo.
don't even have to pretend to be
It's
there.
the
No. Well, look at Kaya Funkhauser from Oklahoma.
Hey,
she
come
made
on
the
now.
open
That's a
team.
girl.
Yep.
I mean, I think she was even ahead of Zach that year.
Hey. You might be right, but we don't got to talk about it on my podcast.
I'll tell you something though. Kaya Funkhauser, a perfect example of that.
Absolutely.
She put in the work.
Absolutely, she did.
She worked hard.
She
get
came
where
to the
she's at.
shoots, and there was people like, why is she trying to get in the
Right.
open deal? And I'm like, it's the open deal. They changed it away. It used to be the men. They only had men's, and I said it's open. Why not?
Yeah.
And she did it. She, of course, I think, was she sub-junior, junior? She could actually, what's she now? Is she going with lady or is she junior gold?
I think she's Lady
I
One
think
now.
she's Lady
But
One.
she could go to junior gold too.
She
yeah.
could
So I'm
hop
wondering
around
if
and
she's
hit
going to
'em all.
hop and do, because she could actually be the first person
That gets 'em all.
ever be to get them all.
She's
Possibly.
still got 2 more years of
Yeah.
eligibility.
Eligibility
I
and
think.
junior gold,
I
yeah.
believe so.
Because she's only 21.
I think
20.
that's a good idea. I think she should try to knock out that junior gold.
I think it'd
just
be
so that she
cool.
can have all of them, sub-junior, Lady
Sub-junior,
One,
junior, lady one,
and then
open,
go later, Lady
junior
Two,
gold,
and then
There you go.
sub-vet, vet,
Yeah.
senior.
then you just got to stay healthy long enough to make it to seniors. That's the hard one to get to.
Yeah.
That was
In
more about
today's
longevity,
yeah,
right?
exactly. But it's a different deal now with these kids where, some of them, they want that participation trophy.
Oh yeah.
Where, I was all about, when I teach anybody, I'm like, listen, this ain't about winning. This is about putting the time and effort to be able to get there.
Well, and I want to stop right there because it also is about them becoming a better version of themselves. They
Absolutely.
might not win.
Yes.
They might not be an All-American one day. That might not be in the cards, but could they get better than they were?
Exactly.
Could they push the game and keep pushing the game to where they're better? And it's very hard not to measure yourself against others, but this is a look within. This
Yeah.
is how did I shoot last
Well,
year
and you're
versus
not-
how I shot this year.
But you're not shooting also that people don't understand is when we go out to shoot online. Prime example, last week at Iowa, Zach won the singles championship. And it was down to 3 of us. But I wasn't shooting against Zach. I'm shooting against myself.
That's exactly right.
And I always
Yeah.
tell people this, and especially I used to be big on the singles and handicap shoot-offs, so they can take a while, singles especially.
Yeah.
But like doubles, you go into a double shoot-off, you shoot 20 targets. I always tell people, you break the first 20 in that shoot-off, you're going to guarantee to get a trophy. And I've had students that are like, what? I'm like, go out and break 20. They went out and broke 20, and after it's all done, they're like, I was
got a
only
trophy.
20.
I
Well, I was
got
the only
20.
20. Exactly. But like when we're out there shooting, I'm not worried about what Zach's doing. I'm worried about breaking my target. Because if you start worrying about everybody else, it's the same deal on the team. If you're shooting with your team and you're worried one of your team members is struggling, the one thing I always say when I was a college coach is tell that person, just give them some pick-me-up.
Yep.
And that's it. Don't dwell on it with them because that's going to make them worse or it's going to hurt you or other team members. But you do your job, everything else comes
There you
together.
go.
Yeah, that's what we talk about. We've talked about every morning this week with the kids. Number one, don't worry about the scores. Take care of the targets. The scores will come.
Come.
One
Every
target
time.
at a time.
And
One
just
target.
one target at a time. They'll come.
Yeah.
And don't go up. You may see a kid over there with his head in his hand sitting on the bench. Don't go over and ask him what you shoot.
Yeah.
Go over and ask him,
Don't
what
ask
can I
what you
do
do
to help you
wrong.
out?
Absolutely.
You lift them up.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Because you never know how, and I will say this, I've seen some kids that really are hard on themselves.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like they're their own
Don't be.
worst critic where they're just looking internally and they just, at that age, they're like, oh my God, I'm not shooting as good as this person, that person.
Right.
I'm letting my mom and dad down. They're traveling. They took all this time off. They paid all this money and now I'm not performing. And they get real internal with it. And
Yeah.
when you see someone that's in that boat and they're struggling, lift them up. Lift them
Yes.
up as
Yep.
much as you
Yes.
can because
Positive.
you have to
Positivity.
be. You have to be
Well,
positive. And the only reason, that I'm still here, I've had the best. I was looking at my first year of shooting, and there was like some 61s and 62s in there, and I don't remember them because it was just like, yeah, I had bad days, but.
Well,
but
you're always going to have. Listen, no one's perfect. That's what.
Yeah.
And I just had this conversation with my youngest son. I'm like, if you can have 100 average, you can get mad. No one ever has had 100 average shooting the whole year in the grant and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So listen, it's. We had Dagan Voigtman on the show the other day.
he's about as
And-
close to it as I've seen.
Yeah, and Dagan has said, he goes, I don't like to shoot a lot of practice at shoots, and he doesn't shoot any practice because he said I'm just one target away from missing. The more you shoot, you're probably going to miss. That is true, but that can be my mental side is, listen, if I need to practice, I'm going to go shoot
Yeah.
Yep.
and figure out fine, but I don't worry about score when I practice. When I teach kids, I don't worry about the score. I worry about fundamentals, getting everything right because the score will come.
Are the
Exactly.
feet right? Does the gun fit? Am I
Exactly.
mounting the gun properly? Do I have the proper hold points? Am
Yep.
I looking in the
Exactly.
right zone?
Keep
Am I
it
shooting
on
too
the
quick?
gun.
Shooting too slow? Those are all, in my mind, much more important things to focus
Absolutely.
on than to just say, okay, I need to break 25 straight. Because, you can break 25 straight, and if you're doing it all the wrong way, are you going to be able to do it back to back to back to back? Probably not.
No.
And that's what Brad touched on earlier about these kids is what it's teaching them. It's teaching them to be thinkers and thinkers for themselves. We could sit there and shoot here all day long or at Oklahoma or Kansas. Each feels different. So I had kids, hey, I'm struggling. Well, lower your hold point on that trap house. Look at your background. Maybe you ought to cheat the corner of that trap house a little bit. You're on post 1 or post 5. We mean cheat. Well, this is what this.
That's
this
right.
Explain that terminology as to what we're saying, and they turn into pretty good thinkers real quick on us.
Yeah, they start figuring out and analyzing, okay, when this happens, now I do this. When this happens, now I do that. Like
Which
there's-
is the best part of shooting is, and I tell this all the time, is if you know what you're doing wrong, there's only about 10% of the shooters out there that really know. And we can talk about good shooters
That don't.
know. They think they do, but they don't. They'll
They
come
don't,
back and say,
right.
is this? And I'm like, No, you weren't over that target. You was about 3 foot behind that target. But that's what they'll continuously say because that's what they think.
There's a lot of shooters that are really good shots that can't self-diagnose, and when they
Yeah.
get in a bad spot or they change a gun or something happens and they lose that magic mixture, it goes away. It's very rare for people to be able to self-diagnose and figure it out.
I always
and look at
say,
the game.
find out that split second. But and I've been doing this a long time and been on 34 All-American teams now. And even when I have issues, the greatest thing, the iPhone, and of course my wife. I'll have her come out and video, but my wife's a past All-American shooter, so she can watch me shoot literally like 2 or 3 targets, and she'll be like, "Dummy, you're doing this." I'm like, "Oh,
Don't do that, Ricky.
yeah.
I say, hey, Jody, be quiet.
Yeah.
Leave him be. We're gonna shoot off.
But the little things like that, and that's the cool with our technology that we have today. I mean, it's leaps and bounds from when I first started shooting. We had contractor phones back then.
Yeah.
A briefcase.
Yeah, that's about what it was.
Yes.
You had to go to a wall and make a phone call.
That is true.
It turned when
Yeah, that's right. I still got a phone like that.
Anybody on the line?
Yeah, exactly.
So I do have a question. If there's people that want to get involved in your program or they want to start, I mean, if this is somebody that's never picked up a shotgun, where do they start?
Start with fundamentals.
Yes.
Probably what made me a better coach, and I've learned it the hard way, is I went back to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Set your feet, set your eyes, set your feet, set your gun, set your eyes, shoot the target. That's my 1, 2, 3, 4. When we go to the box, do your 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it simple. Lanny Basham probably has, when I discovered his book, has probably taught me more about how to keep it simple, keep the process. And I would recommend that book to anybody that's with winning in mind.
With winning in mind, Lanny Basham.
I would recommend that book to any coach out there. When I really started studying him and started studying Don't Be Your Own Worst Enemy, he's got 3 chapters on that.
He does a lot of stuff
Do
with
yourself.
Todd Bender.
Yeah, your self-image. Tell yourself that you're good. He goes through a lot of that stuff. And what's funny is when I started doing that, now I have baseball and softball coaches coming to me and say, "Hey, come talk to my team." And it spills over into other sports. So my suggestion, keep it simple. It's not always the gun. It's not always the shell. Just
A process.
keep
A
it.
consistent
Let's-
process that's refined and simple. Don't overcomplicate it.
Don't overcomplicate. do a
And
process.
believe in yourself.
Yep.
Believe in yourself and
Well,
have that confidence.
That's the main thing. If having confidence, and I'll take kids that have never shot before, and I'll take them over to a skeet house, station 7, low 7. Hey, we're gonna just shoot this target, and just stand there, just shoot.
Yeah.
Or on a trap, if we don't have a skeet on a trap, they'll post 3, or even sometimes
Straightaway
behind the house.
threes.
Yeah.
Just straight away.
Straightaway,
Let them
yeah.
break 10, 15 targets. Why?
Little confidence.
Little confidence, because confidence goes a long way. You can take the world's best shooter. They go out there and miss 3 or 4 in a row. The confidence is gone. I don't care how much
you
shooting
can't.
they've done and experience. The confidence goes out the window till they start breaking. And that's what I always say. And that's why I always call it target management. It's like, okay, you missed one. What happened? Okay, go on. You're missing a couple. There's something going on. Get it corrected. Don't dwell on stuff, because if you dwell on it, you're gonna miss more.
Yeah, you start
So-
thinking about it and starting getting the wheels spinning. Oh, I'm missing, and now what am I doing? And I'm missing more, and it just kind of it spirals out of control.
Yeah,
You have to
absolutely.
go back to the basics, the simple. I love what you said about keeping
Yeah.
it very simple and those steps that you use, and just allowing yourself to be happy with the fact that it doesn't have to be very complicated.
Exactly.
That's what, when we start those kids off at home, we start out with the gun fit you touched on. Get them fitting that gun. I had a parent one day call me and she said, "You know what little Jimmy's doing?" I said, "I have no idea." Well, I come home and he's got his shotgun aimed at the mirror in the house. I said, "Yes, ma'am. He was supposed to have told you about that." So I
Yeah,
told
he was
him
supposed to ask first.
Yes.
He's doing it. I like the initiative. Maybe call mom and dad first.
Talk to mom and dad first.
He missed step point 1.
Yeah, point 1 was talk to mom and dad first.
He skipped right to the advanced methods.
And I told him, I said, if you've got a full body mirror in your house, put a piece of tape there at eye level and practice your gun mounts. Because the gun was too heavy for him.
Yep.
And he wasn't a kid. I said, "You lift weights." I hate lifting weights. So get back to that mental game.
Yeah.
Hey, well, give me 50 gun mounts a night. This is where you need to hold it. Does it feel good? Yep. Give me 50 a night. And he went to doing that, and his mom freaked out. She thought he was going to shoot the mirror or something, And I said, make sure.
I always say no dry.
Make sure
It's a dry
somebody-
firing technique.
Right.
We're not pulling the trigger.
Yes,
but
right.
you are right. The gun lifts is the most important thing for any shooter out there. And I tell in all my classes, my last deal is gun lifts. Because the gun, 8 to 10 pounds,
Right.
we'll say. Now, there's people that can't hold a gun up that long. And all you need to hold up for is just a couple seconds.
Yeah,
But
doing that 50
you're
times.
using muscles.
Yep.
But you got to
know.
hold it still and you got to control it.
Absolutely.
And I think the
That's-
biggest barrier for young people when they start is just the controlling of the gun itself. I
Well,
mean, if
because
they're-
then it makes how their posture.
then they're
is.
like this.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
leaning back in this
They
because
get
they're trying
stuck
to
out.
cradle it.
They're trying to
instead of
push their
getting up.
hip forward
Exactly.
to hold that way,
Exactly.
and if you do those gun lifts. But
Everywhere.
yeah, I always most time when I'm telling my kids, the parents are there, or if they're not, when they show back up to pick them up, I'm like, hey, listen, I told little Johnny that they need to be doing some gun lifts in the house, on the farm, wherever, but you need to be around, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's what every fall when we start back, when we get back home, we'll take about a couple of weeks break, and we'll be right back in the middle of our 4-H stuff, and we'll take those kids to the pattern board. We had some phenomenal shooters one year. They come back from summer break and they could not hit the back of the trap house. I'm like, what changed? And I was looking at them. Well, they all grew over the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's working out for football. That pocket disappeared.
Changes.
So
So
we
how much
circled
as
that.
coaches are you watching to see about growth? I mean, you're tracking that, or you're trying to be cognizant of okay, these guys grew and
Is
recheck.
that Microsoft Excel helping you with that?
Not with that. Not with
You
that.
could have you could add that in there.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I
saying.
could. I
That-
could. But-
Because I just had a student that showed up today. I hadn't seen him in 3 or 4 months. He grew a foot. And I'm like, and the mom was like, what about gun fit,
Let's start all
And his
over.
first name's Marshall. And
Yeah.
I told Marshall, I said, about that gun. I was like, yeah. you
Need a little adjustment.
It's,
Yeah, over on top of his thumb.
going to a winning stock will help.
Yeah, and that's
But
what
you need
my-
to get one every 6 months when you're going like that.
Pattern stock.
Yeah, the pattern stuff.
pattern
Go with the
stuff.
pattern stuff.
That's what when we come up here one year, my son, he just exploded over the summer, and he was shooting lights out with this a little BT-99 micro, I think. We got up here and he's standing on the line, and it looked like he was holding a toothpick, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, we
Yeah, we got to pick something.
yes, we got
16 spacers and
About 5 inches of stock.
Yeah, so he went from I think a 14 and 3/4 to a 16 and a half
length pull.
Yeah.
I think I'm down. I used to be 16 and 3/4. I think I'm down to about 16 now. The older you get, the neck doesn't want to stretch out as well.
That's what in the gun fit. I had to go back to practicing what I was preaching. We went to Southwest Grand last fall, and I shot lights out. I come home and went to some shoots. Well, I got diagnosed with diabetes.
Oh,
Doctor said you need to lose some weight. So I went from that was in May. I went from like 230 down to 175. And my gun fit, I have struggled with that gun fit. And I remember
Yeah.
watching one of you guys' podcasts. I got to practice what I preach to these kids. So I go out and do my gun mounts and get it where I need it and go.
I'm down right at 90, and I've been through some pattern stocks, and I didn't think it made. I was like, oh, it makes a little. I adjust a little bit, and then finally I was like, no, I lost a lot of meat in here.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it changes on where that gun's going to fit.
Everything.
Absolutely, makes a huge difference.
So, are you guys doing active recruiting to find new team members, or do they just come to you, or what do you do to promote the team, the
So-
Oklahoma Dusters?
We have a Facebook page. It's just Oklahoma AIM, and we lay out all of our success on there. We try to help these kids, with colleges, get spotlight on them for colleges, and they'll reach out to us through the spring. Hey, how do we get involved with this? They'll send us messages over social media, and which my number's on the OTSA's website, and they pretty much call, and we'd love to be involved. Come on, we'd love to have you.
So, you guys got a good enough reputation. You've done enough big things, obviously, that people know of you in the community, in the trap shooting community. If they're wanting to get involved, then they reach out and just join the team and go from there. And you guys welcome them. And
So anybody looking to sponsor the team, they can get on, and there's Oklahoma AIM Facebook
How many
page.
Polarises did we drag up here
Oh,
with us?
gosh.
Where's Polaris?
Well, now listen.
Can-Am?
Well, now if you guys are looking for some good deals on some Can-Ams,
I mean,
we do have Big Red Motorsports.
well,
Shameless plug, they're a sponsor of the show,
You had to
sponsor
bring
of
up
mine.
these things. How's your air conditioning cap, by the way? Isn't
It's
it wonderful?
nice. I got it this morning. it was nice and cool.
Yeah, a little jealous of that. To be
Oh,
honest.
he's living right. I'm telling you.
Those Can-Am Limiteds are very nice
I'm,
things,
I'm,
Jason.
I'm walking around the dusty road with my bag, and Ricky just drives off. I see my face on the back of the thing, and he's just waving, and I'm like, "This isn't fair." I said, "I don't know how did this deal get worked out. This is wrong."
We're gonna get Zach a little 2-wheel scooter.
Yeah. I'll be riding a Vespa. Do they have any Vespas at Big Red?
No,
Didn't think
Yeah,
so.
something like that.
So I really appreciate you guys coming in today. I guess is if there's people that want to become more involved, maybe in the coaching position, do you have any good advice for people that are like, okay, my kid's shooting, should I be a coach, should I not be a coach? What's the mindset there for y'all?
You can't help but be a coach.
Oh, yeah. At some level.
Yeah, and what's your passion?
Yeah.
Is your heart in it? If your heart's in it, you're going to be a good coach. You're going to work at it. You're going to seek the knowledge and the things to be a better coach. Whether you actually know how to shoot or not, it don't matter. The encouragement, the logistics, the figuring things out. That always is a big thing.
You know, the confidence, going back to what you guys were talking about confidence a little bit ago, I think that's a very important thing, but there's a big difference and there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
If you as a coach are not willing to be teachable, don't get in this. Don't do that. Because you're just going to hurt your kids, you're going to hurt everybody around you, you're going to be somebody that nobody really wants to be around.
Yeah.
So that arrogance level, confidence is a completely different thing, but it is a fine line. So you have to be cautious with that. Be teachable, learn, and when somebody comes up, and at least have an open mind to listen.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. You know, a lot of people are really quick to say, "I've got this figured out. I don't need your help." You know, I've been in this for 2 years. I know what I'm doing.
I know it all.
Yeah, I know it all. Exactly.
Here, 21 years in, I'm still learning a lot. And
Yeah.
Ricky has
I've been
been
doing this
7
for
years in,
17
learning every
years.
day.
If you're not learning, you're not
You're
doing
dying.
it.
Yeah,
That's exactly
right.
That's
exactly
what
right.
myself. I love to help people. I love to help kids. And my biggest deal is, growing up, I was kind of the underdog, and I love those underdogs.
Oh.
I love to grab those underdogs up and show them their true potential,
Yep.
and let them see what they're capable of doing. And
Well, you're not born a world champion.
no,
You're
right.
not.
No,
You're not. I mean, are there some kids that have better advantage?
You
than
got to
others?
have
Absolutely.
grit. You got
But
to
you
have
do
that
the grit. Absolutely.
Yep, that's what I used to rodeo, and there's a gentleman that was rodeoing this year. He laid it out there a while back. He said, "Well, we didn't win, but we learned a lot, so we didn't lose."
That's
And
absolutely.
the whole time we're learning, we're still winning.
If you're learning, you're gaining.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's just a powerful statement. That if you're not winning, you're learning. I mean, that's a transitionary shift in the mind that most people don't have. They say, "Oh, I did great today, I won," or "I did crappy today, I lost." Like, no. What did you learn on those misses? What did you feel, and what did you do wrong to cause you to go down that path that you could learn from and not be there again?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a lot,
And
and
that's-
that's life.
That's
Yeah,
one of the
that's
things
it.
I'll teach a lot. And Lanny, I learned it from Lanny Basham, is you can have a winning performance and not win the performance.
Yes.
I can have a personal victory that's still not good enough to win the tournament that day, but I come home victorious because I achieved something I wanted to achieve.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and the weather, I mean, you can get by a draw on weather or whatever. You can
Well,
have a
like
winning
here.
performance.
Yeah, here. I mean, this heat
And not
bothers
win the
me.
performance.
There's some luck that comes into it, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you get a bad trap one day that's
Yeah.
throwing really bad targets. You get
Oh, yeah.
some weather that maybe the other shooters didn't get to
Yeah.
experience because the time of the day when you shot wasn't as good as everybody else.
That's
I mean,
all
there's
part
some
of it.
there's some things that come in part of it that you just have to keep your head high and you have to be proud and strong and say, you know what, I did the best I could with what we had, and we made the best of it. And
Exactly.
we've dealt with it. We've
yeah.
seen it where sometimes you're
I've
just
been
like,
on the good part, and I've been on the bad
What it-
part, and I've
here's
actually
the thing.
performed better on the bad part than sometimes on the good part.
That's what during the sporting plays the other day, our last 100 event, our kids at 1:00, they were beat down, they were done, and I told them, I said, "Hey, shoot, get on your cart, stay hydrated, stay in the cool." I said, "Guys, you got to look at it like this. Everybody's shooting in this.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Everybody.
everybody
So,
feels the heat.
yes,
Yeah.
everybody's feeling it. They got the same shoot times. We shot at 8:00 this morning. They shot at 1. So here we are. and
Yeah.
And I do want to circle back to what you said, Brad, when you said like the parents that get involved and what they're doing. I think you're 100% right. If their heart's not in the right spot and they're not really focused on learning more and becoming better, I think that can become an enemy to the kid or to the team. If you have somebody that says, you know what, I know what I'm doing, and I know what's right for my Johnny, and I know what's right for my Susie, and I'm kind of like, I would say, if you're listening to the show and you're a parent, you know, you can love your kid. Your kid's obviously the one that you focus on the most over anyone else, but you also have to be open-minded that there's other people that want to see them succeed, and be open-minded to the other coaching staff, the other people kind of coming in with those ideas and that initiative. Because I have seen some people that are, you know, I don't know, with the hover mom or the hover dad, where it's like, you know, I've got to make sure they do this and make sure they do that, and you know, there's a lot of pressure to it, and
let them grow.
Let them. It's like someone told me one time, a tomato plant will only grow as big as the environment around it. If you put it in a little pot, it's only going to grow this big. But if you put it out in a garden, you're going to have this big old tomato plant. And I think, you know, if you push people and you confine them with all this thought, not let them think, you're confining their growth.
Well, to go with that, I met a kid that I'm sure there's probably several. You know, the parents think, well, I bought you the DT11, I bought you the TSK stock. You've got everything you need, so why aren't you hitting 100 straights? You should be perfect. You should be shooting perfect.
All the equipment is right. You should hit everything.
I've sent you to these camps. I've done this, and this. And all you're doing is beating them down. But I mean, just like we were talking about just a second ago, you know, Albert Einstein, he didn't say, I failed at making a light bulb 1,000 times. He says, I learned how not to make a light bulb 1,000 times until he figured out the right way.
We got light.
So,
We got lights on.
So this is the attitude and perspective is key in every aspect of life, and it all goes full circle. Right back to, you know, we teach these kids, you know, listen, just because you went out and shot a 14 today on one round, you know, listen, we're learning. We're still learning. And
I always tell them, what'd you gain out of that?
Exactly.
Or what did you accomplish? Well, I shot bad. Okay, but what did you? Well, there was, and there'll be something in there, and they'll be like, oh, and I'm like, that's the ticket right there. That's your winning performance today.
Exactly.
You learned something, even though it was a bad performance in the
Did you
score
learn?
aspect, but you learned.
Yes.
You know, and that's a big thing.
Absolutely.
Well, I can say that this has been one of the best episodes
Absolutely.
we've had, and you know, I'm so glad that you guys came in and shared your knowledge with us. Is there anything you would like to say in parting, or is there anyone you'd like to thank before we get out of here?
I'd just like to thank everybody that just believed in us, everybody back in Oklahoma, you know, stuck with us and helped us along the way, supported these kids. It's been an amazing journey for me. My son's, he'll turn 21 in January. I've had people to ask me, how long are you in with this? And
Long time.
they keep telling me a long time.
They're dragging you around.
You just figured out Excel. You can't give up now.
And, you know,
If we could only figure out the ATA entering system.
yeah, we could figure out the increase.
Little
project.
victories, little victories.
Yeah.
A little bit, small steps.
You know,
We're learning, Paul. We're learning.
but you know, it's my son's no longer involved 4-H, and I help Monty out, and I've had it kind of bothers me, but I have people say, well, what are you here for? You ain't got no skin in the game. I'm like, oh, I got a lot of skin in this game.
Hey, you're an underdog. I know that.
Yeah,
So you're gonna
yes,
just keep
yeah.
talking, just keep chirping, and you'll be back around. That's how you get them. You just say, "Hey, I don't think you can do this anymore."
Reverse psychology.
I know how to
on it.
work that. Okay,
Yeah.
we can.
That's one characteristic we both almost tell us we can't hate it. So.
You can't quit until all that hair's gone. You've been pulling it out all
It's
day.
Well, I can say I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
Yes,
I want to thank each of y'all for
Thank
being
you.
on very
Thank
much.
you.
Brad,
Enjoyed it.
Monty,
Very
Paul,
much so.
you guys
Very
are
much so.
awesome. You know,
Thank you.
anybody that's listening to this show, we're gonna put a link to their website, Oklahoma Dusters. John, you'll put it up here over there somewhere.
Down there,
If
up
you'd
there.
like to support the team or get more information, I'm sure you can get in touch with these three gentlemen. They'll help you out, and you know, like I said, a wealth of knowledge. And we wish you good scores the rest of the week. And it
Tomorrow.
seems like your team is just really kicking butt out there, which that's always good when you have good scores along with good coaches. So, you know, congratulations on that. And for everyone listening, happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Send your questions. Wear your merchandise.
You got anybody else you want to have on the show? Let us know.
Let us know. I mean, we got the new stuff. Look at
That's
we got
right.
the
New
hats,
hats just came out.
looking fresh.
Those look good, by the way, man. They look really sharp.
And I owe you one because you like I said, we'll get you that sponsorship, that first one.
That'll come out of Zach's pay.
The one hat.
All right.
We got you.
All right.
Not for the rest of the kids are gonna have to buy them. But get one.
Fair enough.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
See you, everyone.